with a lot of people during this pandemic having to stay home, the shelves in grocery stores selling out of flour and different things, people are experimenting. So they're getting to see firsthand what it takes to cook from scratch. But it'll also give them a better appreciation for what we do as a company.
Hey Canada, welcome to another episode of Dana's Culinary Insights. Today we have our Director of Operational Excellence featured on this episode. But before we get to that, if you're looking for a food service provider or a partner in food, check out our website, danahospitality.ca. You could also check us out on our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, at Dana Hospitality.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
So we have lots to get to. I do want to ask you a bunch of questions. I do want to start on a high level. Have you noticed any big shifts in menus, demand for certain menu items from our customers around the country at all?
Menus and dishes have had to undergo a little bit of an adaptation from a packaging standpoint. Our menus have been modified or pared down during the pandemic just to coincide with the downturn in business. Mm-hmm. However, our chefs are still creating scratch-made dishes using local ingredients or as many local ingredients as possible. It's always been our mantra, so to speak.
Right. And do you notice anything unique about the products that are moving in a post-COVID environment? I know that you're running some cafes out there in some of our places of serving. Do you notice any particular products moving at all?
I think we've all put on some pandemic pounds, so to speak, and we see that in a lot of the food items that are moving through our cafes right now. People are definitely gravitating towards different salad creations that our chefs dream up, different noodle bowls, grains and pulses. On the lighter fare, it's really, really moving well. Deli sandwiches, being made from full cuts of meat being roasted in-house, served on fresh bakery buns, of course, individually packaged, moving very well. And we're starting to get a lot of requests for items that were pared down, some of our regular comfort foods or go-to items for customers.
Very cool. Now, obviously, as a country, we saw some really cool things move. It was interesting to see food behavior and consumer behavior in this kind of a season. So we saw flour moving, people were baking a lot more, people are starting to garden a little bit more. People are also starting to take on making from scratch a lot of things. Do you think that that's going to result in positive positioning for Dana? Has Dana always been positioned? I know that one of our core pillars is making from scratch. Do you want to speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our foundation, Dana's foundation, has always been scratch, fresh, local. So we hire chefs for a reason. They're unchained. They don't follow cycle menus. They're hired to create. So with a lot of people during this pandemic having to stay home, the shelves in grocery stores selling out of flour and different things, people are experimenting. So they're getting to see firsthand what it takes to cook from scratch. But it'll also give them a better appreciation for what we do as a company and the time, care, and love that we put into our food. It's not prepackaged foods. There's no additives or preservatives or anything that come along with prepackaged foods. Our chefs are allowed to be chefs, which is very important. It's passion, and that passion comes out in the form of culinary bliss.
Do you think that strategy of giving chefs that much freedom has at all been impacted during this pandemic?
Yeah, there's been some challenges. However, I think in a lot of ways it's helped us. Supply and demand across the board, whether it be the restaurant industry, with general use in grocery stores, it's made it challenging. So, hiring chefs they're able to adapt. They can turn on a dime. They can work with local suppliers. If they're out of a certain cut of meat, they can find out what they do have and adapt their menus to suit. as I said, they're not bound by cycle menus, so the adaptation and the freedom to create is there, and that's what the customers want to see. They want to see really good food created by a chef and not freezer oven, so to speak. It's very important to people, especially in today's age, that they're getting good, nutritious, homemade, scratch, local supplied food.
You spoke a little bit about customer taste. I do want to ask you, do you find in this season, in this pandemic, that customers are gravitating closer to what's familiar to them, like classic favorites, or do you think they're experimenting a little bit more with the extra gardening and time that they have at home?
I think it's a little bit both. In the interim, I've noticed a definite trend of customers requesting a lot of their favorites that we may have pared down off the menu, and so we keep very, very close contact with all of our customers, and we take their suggestions. And as they request, we integrate these items into our menu or reintegrate them into our menu. Things like our scratch-made chicken fingers. There was a bit of a supply issue on getting the fresh chicken tenders that we use to produce them. Well, we're not going to compromise ourselves and go to the frozen variety, right? Because we're known for fresh scratch local. As we're able to get them again, that's one of the biggest things I've noticed, that people want those made in-house chicken fingers. As far as the experimenting, that's always been there. People always want to try new things, and again, that's why we have chefs. So bringing back the comfort foods, the things that they're used to, coupled with, expanding people's horizons on different culinary creations, it's a home run.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Stuart. We appreciate having you on the show.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, and be safe and eat well.
There you have it, Canada. So that's our Director of Operational Excellence giving you his insights. We hope you enjoyed that episode. Again, if you're out there looking for a food service partner, we're right here. You can check us out at danahospitality.ca. You could also check out our social media at Dana Hospitality, and that's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.